On the coldest, rain-soaked morning of the year, single dad Ryan Hale never expected that a simple act of kindness would alter the entire course of his life. He had just dropped his 8-year-old daughter, Emily, at school and stopped at a small roadside diner for a quick bite before heading to his shift at the auto shop. But when he saw the soaked, trembling woman sitting alone outside the entrance, clothes torn, hair drenched, eyes wide and frightened like someone who had forgotten what safety felt like, something inside him refused to look away. He didn't know her name. He didn't know her story. All he knew was that she looked like she hadn't eaten in days. And in that moment, he made a choice, one he could never have imagined would come back to his doorstep in the most shocking way. If you believe kindness and second chances can change lives, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Your engagement helps us bring more real, emotional stories to the world. Ryan walked her inside the diner, ignoring the stares from other customers and the skeptical look from the waitress who clearly wondered why a man like him was bringing in someone so disheveled. The woman flinched at every sound, her hands shaking as though even the warmth of the diner felt unfamiliar. Ryan ordered 2 sandwiches, a hot soup, and a tea, pushing aside his own hunger to focus on her. She hesitated before eating, as if she needed permission, and when she finally took her first bite, her eyes filled with tears that streamed silently down her cheeks. Ryan pretended not to notice, giving her space, letting her breathe. He didn't ask questions. He didn't pry. He simply watched over her like a quiet guardian in the booth, offering food and warmth, a moment of humanity she seemed too fragile to believe was real. He handed her his jacket before she left, insisting she take it even when she tried to refuse. She whispered a barely audible thank you, clutching the jacket to her chest, and then she slipped out into the rain before he could say anything more. Ryan assumed he would never see her again. He didn't tell anyone about what he'd done that morning. Acts of kindness, he believed, were not meant to be broadcast, they were meant to be lived. Life continued. Ryan returned to long shifts at the auto shop, juggling work, bills, and caring for little Emily, who was the brightest part of his world. She often teased him for giving away jackets, lunches, or spare cash to strangers, calling him Daddy the Helper. She didn't know that Ryan wasn't just generous, he knew what it felt like to have nothing. Years ago, when Emily's mother abandoned them both, they had barely survived. That memory guided his every act of compassion. Weeks passed. Then one quiet Tuesday afternoon, just as Ryan was fixing a customer's car, a sleek black SUV pulled into the lot. 2 professionally dressed individuals stepped out, their expressions serious. Ryan felt his stomach twist as they approached him. They looked like lawyers, and lawyers didn't show up for good reasons in his world. The woman introduced herself and asked if he was Ryan Hale. His first instinct was panic. Had something happened to Emily? Was he being sued? His hands trembled as he nodded. But nothing could have prepared him for what came next. The lawyers explained that the homeless woman he had fed weeks earlier had not been homeless at all, at least, not originally. Her name was Marissa Langford, the missing daughter of a very wealthy family. She had suffered a traumatic event, run away, and had been living on the streets, refusing assistance from anyone, except him. Ryan felt the world tilt beneath him. They told him that Marissa had been found safely, receiving medical care and recovering from her psychological trauma. And the reason they were here was because Marissa remembered him. She remembered the jacket, the food, the way he spoke to her with dignity when she felt worthless. She said that his kindness had been the first step in her choosing to seek help. Then the lawyers handed Ryan an envelope. Inside was a letter from Marissa, written in trembling handwriting. She thanked him for seeing her as human when she felt invisible. For feeding her when she thought she deserved nothing. And then came the part that made Ryan's breath stop. Enclosed with the letter was a legal document stating that Marissa's family wanted to express their gratitude by offering him a sizable financial gift, enough to pay off his debts, support Emily's education, and give them a fresh start. Ryan almost dropped the envelope. He refused at first, insisting he wasn't a charity case, that he had only done what any decent human being should. But the lawyers gently explained that Marissa's family believed accepting it was part of honoring her healing journey. She wanted to give back to the person who unknowingly saved her life. For the first time in a long time, Ryan felt something loosening in his chest, hope. Real, tangible hope. The next few weeks transformed everything. Ryan paid off old bills that had been haunting him for years. He moved Emily into a slightly bigger apartment where she finally had her own little reading corner. He even cut back on overtime for the first time, allowing himself the freedom to rest and simply be present for his daughter. But what affected him more than anything was the realization that kindness, even when unnoticed, carried a power he had never fully understood. And though Ryan never sought fame or thanks, he kept Marissa's letter in a small wooden box beside his bed, a reminder that no good deed is ever wasted. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Your support helps us bring more emotional and inspiring stories to you. Before we end, we have one special request: comment below what kindness means to you. Ryan's story lives on because of people like Marissa, and people like you, who believe that compassion can change the world in ways we never expect.